Delves have become a major cornerstone of WoW, right? It's a major progression system now. It fits right in there with Mythic Plus and rating, and it's changing again in 12.1. A whole new season means all new delves, all new changes, and a delve shakeup. So let's see what's going on here. Season 2 delve shakeups, new solo rewards, title changes, and more. Here we go for the Gregs of accounting. Let's check out what's changing in delves in Season 12.1.
Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dal, and we got some major seasonal content updates coming down the pipeline for Midnight as an expansion as part of the patch 12.1, which is right now live for testing over on the PTR, with delves in particular getting a significant bit of a shakeup. The great news is delves will still remain to be a prime source of gear, especially for solo players out there. But outside of the basic seasonal gear grind, there's also other features such as new opportunities for you to customize Valeera with new poisons to better augment your gameplay. You also do have a ton of new rewards from mounts and a ton of other collectibles and cosmetics, including transmog, decor, but also unique rewards for those of you that are big fans of boss challenges. So for today's video, I really want to go over everything that is...
I've done delves enough, to have an opinion on them. I think they're good still this season. But how does everyone feel about Valeera versus our Bronzebeard buddy? Bran, what's the I think Valeera's better at doing what she does. I know she was kind of weak in the beginning, but in terms of DPS, I think she's better than Bran was overall. And right now, I guess she's getting a buff in Season 2 in terms of her poison effects and everything. So she's going to be even stronger. Val is so much better. Bran was a better tank. That was a big issue with Valeera. See, I'm a tank, so I didn't use her as a tank, so I wouldn't know her issues, but I know she did have issues tanking. She's godly DPS. Yeah, I just think she's so much better at DPS. I think that's the consensus. Bran is hotter. That's also true. I think everyone thinks that too. You're right. You're right, Ray.
Coming to delves as part of the Season 2 content and everything that we've been able to test so far over on the PTR
Her tanking
realms.
is getting buffed for this for Season 2.
As
so
always,
good.
if you guys want to see more regular updates for Midnight as an expansion, especially when it comes to upcoming seasonal content of the patch 12.1, be sure to follow the channel and subscribe. But otherwise, let's dive right in. So first of all, let's go over the basics because delves do get some new content as part of the Season 2 update. First of all, you get 3 new delves added to the roster, one of them being the Ring of Glory and the other one being a Gnarled Rise, with the third delve being a boss delve, which is really just a single boss encounter that comes with a tier
delve
1
nemesis
and
boss.
tier 2 difficulty. Some players call it normal mode and hard mode. That awards a unique mount, but also a variety of also seasonal rewards. So there's at least 3 new delves for you to explore. But also, all of the old devs are actually going to get new storylines for them that are going to be more Venom themed and have a variety of different venomous enemies instead. So there's going to be snake and venom type of enemies that are going to be very, very similar to the void enemies we had for Season 1. There'll be the trash pack with like 3 small enemies that attack and put some kind of a dot, very similar to those like void dogs that leave a bleed on you.
So
there's
snake
gonna be a big
re-theme to a lot of these.
enemy with a shield. There's a variety of different elites that you can get, like a snake elite. So essentially, they're just going to be replacing those original archetypes just with a more venomous nature damage type of enemy in mind, which is fantastic for a lot of you that are playing a class that can dispel poisons because you essentially just have a way to counter a huge portion of those mechanics natively. That or just setting Valeera on a healer will...
I didn't think about that. Yeah, or anyone who plays healer. I mean, it's going to be so much easier. If poisons are like a big thing for this second season, dot poison, stuff like that, I mean, healers are going to have a good day. Just be getting rid of that shit the entire time.
You will give her the ability to dispel a lot of these effects. And the boss delve itself is also going to be the new delve of Venom.
Yeah, Dispel will be at meta.
With a boss that seems to be getting some sort of like a Simon Says mechanic that you'll have to memorize and then stand in the right quadrant in order to make sure you don't get hit by a frontal, which I assume is going to be a ton of fun to get used to.
Oh my god. So the delve nemesis boss, the big delve boss for this season is going to have a Lura mechanic? Oh no. Blizzard loves the new Lura mechanic. They love the matching of the symbols. So he said it's going to be a Simon Says-esque mechanic. That's going to be fun to stream for sure. Yeah, I can already picture it.
On top of it, we also do get new curios for Valeera, which at the time of me testing on PTR, a lot of the combat curios and utility curios right now to me are locked. I've done as many quests as I could to try to progress to it, but I haven't really been able to do much more with that, though a lot of these are going to most likely come down to very similar to Season 1, very similar effects, and usually there's going to be like a really good utility curio that's good
Okay.
for clearing, that's good for bosses, and a best combat curio, maybe like two of them that are usually best in slot. There's usually not that
Yeah.
much variety you can do, as they don't actually affect Valyr's gameplay that much.
Yeah, as far as curios go, I'll be honest, I don't even pay attention to them. I just look for what the best ones are, for what like the meta curios are, and then I just when I get them, I put them in. That's about it.
What is going to affect Valeera's effectiveness, though, is going to be a new choice of poisons. You can now select which type of poison Valeera runs in your delve runs, which gives Valeera better texture and better flavor as to how she's going to be able to assist your runs. You will have Soul Thirsty Venom, which is what she normally has for most of her runs natively, which is a poison that grants her allies Leech, Avoidance, and Speed. So this is a nice defensive trait.
Interesting.
Leech can be good for survivability, Avoidance is great for AoE damage, Speed is just movement, so you can get through delves faster. Now the next poison is an interesting one. It's called Poison of the Forgotten Master. Valeera coats her and her allies' weapons with an ancient poison that grows in potency over time, increasing all damage done by 5%, stacking every 3 seconds, while in combat up to 5. So it
Cool mount. Yeah, he's teasing us with that mount. I think that might be the Delve Nemesis boss mount.
buffs
We'll see here in a
damage.
second,
All stacks, however, are removed if the wielder of the poisoned weapon takes damage. So if you're a tank, right, and Valeera grants you this buff, and you're constantly taking on damage, you will constantly be losing that effectiveness. The Valeera will
Right,
actually
can't
be able
use her
to
as a
maintain
tank.
it. Conversely, if you have Valeera tanking and if she's the only one taking damage, as long as you don't take damage, you're able to stack up the damage buff to empower yourself. So there is some opportunity to make Valeera do more damage as a healer, Valeera possibly granting you this buff while she's tanking, or if you have Valeera set as a DPS while you're drawing a lot of the aggro, then Valeera can build up quite a significant bit of damage herself. Another poison is called Blood Crypt Poison. Valeera applies a debilitating poison to her and her allies' weapons. Enemies struck by these poison weapons have their damage reduced by 10% and their haste reduced by 10% for 20 seconds. So a defensive poison that actually reduces enemies' frequency of attacks, but also some of their abilities that scale with haste. So you have a couple of different options. Either a pure utility poison for avoidance, leech, and speed, a damage amplification poison with a bit of a caveat, or a damage reduction poison to make some of those hits hit a little bit less hard.
So you got a healer, a tanking, and a DPS version of these poisons. That's basically what you got there.
Giving you a little bit better chance for survivability. On top of it, she still has access to her tank, healer, and damage dealer role. Those didn't really change too much in terms of the abilities as that she's going to be able to bring. You will be able to gain Valeera to a higher level, so the Uncrowned Playbook of Subterfuge or their variants for the damage dealer as well as the healer are also going to go up in value with this brand new season. So
no, my
Valeera
Valeera
is going to be getting stronger, but now you have a little bit more customizability through some of these new curio poisons. Now, as you complete delves in Season 2, of course this is going to be an opportunity for players to earn a variety of rewards, with gear for the most part staying roughly the same in terms of its acquisition, but also the reward value, which means delves are going to be incredibly good to do during the very first few weeks, as they'll be a great source of champion track items, but also potentially hero track pieces from the map. But
don't forget, they're also going to be a really good source of crests once again. You got to understand too, right now, like ritual sites kind of took the spot of delves in terms of like, hey, these are good sources of crests. But those are not continuing into Season 2, it looks like. So once again, like a good way, weekly way to get yourself some crests, or like 20 myth track crests, is, you know, go back and do some do delves. I think it's like 4 delves a week or something. You can cap out on your crests. So yeah, besides everything else he said, yeah, you can always go get some extra crests from them.
Also the Great Vault as well. But also, the season delves are also going to come with a variety of unique rewards as well.
True, man.
Like the current mount that I'm riding. The mount's name specifically is a Corroded Soul Crusher, and this is more of like the basic variation that you can earn from a vendor as you progress your way through the delve's journey. One. And then, of course, you have the red variation, which is the Apothic Soul Crusher, which is the unique reward that you get for defeating the Delve boss for the season, which looks absolutely fantastic.
Actually, I like the green one more. Because the snake poison theme just hits better with me with the green color than the red. It's another mech suit. I saw somebody, they're like, oh, another reskin. I mean, it is. But I do like the theming, the Amani kind of snake boy theme. I like the green one more than the red one. I don't know what your guys' opinion on it, but my mind goes to green for poison. So this looks more snaky. The red one's cool. It has the horns on it and stuff. But I mean, neither of these are like exciting me a lot. But I do think the green one's kind of cool.
It is, while looking like a mech mount, it is a flying mount on top of it, so you'll be able to utilize it for a variety of content, and it looks fantastic and possibly a great addition for so many of you that are
tired
into
of mech
mount
suits
collections.
too. Yeah.
Now, another thing you'll notice is some of the different collectibles that you can obtain based on some of these training dummies, or rather mannequins. You do have new serpent wings that are dripping with venom. We have a couple of different colors, more green, more purple, as well as red, which looks absolutely amazing. And a lot of these can also be obtained from the vendors as well. Specifically, you can get the Ophidian Patagia, which is going to be one of those that you can get from the
Where do they come up with these names, man?
You also have access to some of the Season 1 rewards, like the cosmetics specifically. So if you missed out on those last season, you will be able to get a second chance to purchase them, though at a fairly hefty cost of undercoin. But also we'll have new seasonal decorations to go into your home, like Zul'Aman Creeping Pango Root. We also got a Zul'Aman Burning Pinecone, which is essentially a light source, but also a hanging mana, as well as other decor that you'll be able to get directly from delves themselves. Or from the Telemancer vendor, you do have a couple of other items such as the Zul'Amani awning, and there's going to be a lot of Zul'Amani style decor that you can get from delves directly during the second season, but also a Brazier post, which also looks really, really good. It might potentially be one of the bigger posts that we have. There's also a Ritual Stone of Ulatek, so it's going to have a lot more of these venomous looking type of decor that you'll also be able to get from delves directly.
Okay.
Those
cool
of you that are into challenge content will be happy to know that the next delve boss for Season 2 content will also have a Hall of Fame that players can get into, but it's not going to be as strict. It's going to function very similar to how Raid Hall of Fames function instead. So the original Hall of Fame for delves locked out in less than 24 hours, and I believe it was just a set number of players that could have access to it. So even if you're somebody who was mid-boss fight, literally seconds away from defeating it, you could literally miss out on the achievement, even if you're one of the first few thousand players to defeat the boss on the hardest difficulty.
Yeah, that Hall of Fame race was a joke. It was over in less than 24 hours. Yeah, Hall of Fame for Warlocks again. Well, basically, yeah, anyone with a pet was able to do that very quickly, and then it also favors tanking specs. So like somebody who was a healer, you're not going to be in the Hall of Fame because that first 18 hours, you're just not geared enough to actually get through that shit. Took 9 hours. Yeah, that's ridiculous. So instead of, he's going to say it here in a second, I'm sure, instead of being based on like a player count or a certain number of players, it's a time. So if you get it, I don't know if it's the first week they're giving people to do it, but anybody who does it will be part of the Hall of Fame in that time limit.
So they're actually giving it a little bit more wiggle room. They're going to have more of a cutoff. I don't really know if it's going to be a couple of days when the achievement gets cut off, or maybe that same week, and any players that killed the boss during that week will get the title. But there's going to be more opportunity for players that maybe were a couple of seconds behind when they were doing the boss initially for Season 1 and just barely missed it. There's going to be more of a guaranteed opportunity for you if you do defeat the fight, likely on the first day of the release, on the hardest difficulty, then you'll likely be getting your title and your bragging rights for that season. With that being said though, as always, I do want to thank all of you guys so much for watching and hope you guys did enjoy this update. If you did enjoy this video or found it informative, go ahead and give it a like, as I would very much appreciate it. Be sure to join our Discord community if you want to keep up with all things Midnight. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below, and as always, I'll see all of you guys in the next one.
There it is. Yeah, nice video overall. Yeah, Delves, obviously a big cornerstone of the game, so every season they get their new shit. Nothing like crazy happening in Season 2 here. Obviously a reskin of all the Delves we currently have with snakes instead of void guys inside. More Venom shit to come. A lot of Venom-themed items and stuff, and then Valeera getting her little updates and buffs and stuff like that. So overall, yep, another season of Delves. Nothing big changing, and a new Delve Nemesis boss, evidently with a Simon Says mechanic. That should be great. A nice video, though, overall from Dalaran Gaming.